Hey guys, Ryan and Greg here, still at Camp Redwood, breaking down another episode of... What's going on?
Oh, I'm so tired.
My head hurts. Are we dead?
Are we stuck here forever?
If we're stuck here forever, I guess we just have to continue breaking down these episodes for eternity.
Too shy.
This was a fun one.
This is my favorite episode of the season so far.
Same here. A lot of fun stuff happened this episode. Let's get into it. First, let's start with the title, The Lady in White. Now, The Lady in White is actually a mystery horror movie back in 1988. I haven't seen this myself personally. Have you seen it?
Of course I have. No, I have not. I haven't, but we have a clip for you right here.
Say your prayers. Lady in White.
Now, obviously, there's some similarities. In this episode, we see Lily Rabe in the white gown as a ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the same thing kind of influence across a handful of different movies and horror characters. So it's obvious, like, you know, Lily Rabe as Lavinia, and she's coming back from the dead. She's like basically cursed and attached to this campground. And she's dealing with the loss of a child as well, right? So her wearing the white gown late at night,
A little bit of a callback.
very much a callback to other stuff that we've seen before.
Now, the choice of the name Lavinia may be from the folklore legend of the actual Lavinia Fisher, who is apparently the first female serial killer.
Yeah, apparently her and her husband at the time, they basically toured the U.S. and just robbed a bunch of people, and there were some murders attached to this. Now, it's kind of wishy-washy on like what exactly went down, the details of it, but apparently at her execution, she wore like a white wedding dress, a gown, and that's why they kind of called her the Lady in White.
And she said, "I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go meet Satan," or something like that.
Yeah. Now, there were obviously some other nods. It very much felt like Friday the 13th, Pamela Voorhees, obviously Jason's mother, kind of coming back from the, you know, having that influence on the campground itself and dealing with the loss of a child and just going kind of crazy and mad. So definitely you felt some vibes from Friday the 13th, as well as the Latin American folklore La Llorona, which dealt with a kind of the weeping woman, I think it is. Late at night, it was something that would haunt different. There's been movies about this, I believe. I haven't seen the movie. Yeah.
Rinsing.
Now, the legend of La Llorona is basically that she's like abandoned in the afterlife and has to search for the bodies of her children. She's dealing with all this loss and tragedy. Very much on the nose for this episode.
So here we find another character looking for their child, Bobby, this time around, with the great, amazing Lily Rabe.
Very fun to have Lily Rabe back in the mix. Now, this is 8 seasons that she's appeared in. She joins Sarah Paulson and Evan Peters. They have the most appearances. Obviously, those two are sitting out this season, so they're all tied at 8 appearances throughout the years of American Horror Story. But I loved how we got that flashback to the 1940s off the top of this episode to see kind of what happened initially at the campground.
I'll be a nickel.
It's a penny whip at the market, Lavinia.
Well, you're not at the market. You're at camp, and here's 3 for a nickel.
Now, the track playing when we first meet Lavinia is Buttons and Bows, and you may remember that track from Asylum, Season 2, Episode 2, where Sister Jude hits that girl with the car. First time we meet the kids, Bobby has that joke about the fridge, and I immediately thought of Pennywise.
Is your refrigerator running? It is. Well, you better catch it before it runs away.
Now, Lavinia just wanted her oldest son, Benjamin, more on that name later, to watch over his youngest brother, Bobby, especially by the water. As soon as you hear this, you know it's going to be very bad news for Bobby. Benjamin, they go down to the lake, And Benjamin gets a little distracted with a couple teenagers, having sex nearby.
The lifeguards.
And his little brother is by the water, and for a minute there, you're like, oh, okay, they're just kind of throwing a curveball at us, like it's going to be okay. And then you see the other boat kind of starting its engine, and yeah.
It's basically like a little bit of a sleepaway camp. They just sleepaway camped Bobby right there.
Right.
Stop! Stop the engine!
Now, Lavinia understandably freaks out after seeing this. And she basically goes crazy on everyone there, blaming everyone for Bobby's death.
Oh, that line. Where is that little shit? I love Lily Rabe's acting in this episode.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Lily Rabe, again, does a very good job of a crazed mother who has had to deal with such a tragic loss. We saw this with Nora Montgomery, obviously, in Murder House.
Oh, yeah.
But here again, throughout this episode, we'll get to other stuff later, but she does an amazing job of having that anger and that pain.
Just pulls it out.
Yeah. So basically, she doesn't forgive. She can't forgive anybody for what happened to her youngest son, and pretty much that sets the tone for the entire episode.
Back to 1989.
Back to the future.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you're stuck here.
Back to 1989, and Donna's with Brooke in a hotel. They broke out, and now they have a new plan here. They want to live a new life.
Yeah, all of a sudden Donna is being very much nice and like helpful to Brooke, and Brooke is understandably extremely suspicious of her, right? Because the last time they ran into each other, Brooke was in a net, like one of those predator nets, in the middle of the woods for the serial killers to go kill her. So understandably, she's a little bit like, I don't know about you, Donna. I don't know if I can trust you. But Donna is basically coming clean with the fact that she was in the wrong, and that she, one thing that she did say that kind of piqued my interest was when she said that she knows what happens next. She knows something about the afterlife.
Yeah.
That she knows what might be next after life, and that she doesn't want to end up in hell.
Don't sleep on that line.
Yeah, she definitely knows something. I don't know how she figured this out or what she's seen,
well,
but she definitely does not want to go to where all the bad things are.
To piggyback off of that, well, she left a newspaper clipping out there, or the ad for the festival at Camp Redwood. Convenient.
Conveniently, yeah, that she left it. She almost wanted Brooke to see that.
Let's just say that I know there are things waiting for us when we die. And I'm just trying to make sure that I go where the good things are, not the other place.
So finally, after a series of what we think would be days, she ultimately agrees with Donna's plan and kind of feels more comfortable around her. But it takes a little bit of roller skating to kind of really get her back in.
Now, one more thing about that hotel room scene. They're watching Doogie Howser, which of course stars Neil Patrick Harris, who we've seen in Freak Show.
Why? Because we're freaks?
No. Because you're beautiful.
Next up, we get another cameo from another one of our favorite actors in American Horror Story. It's Dylan McDermott.
Yes, as Bruce.
As
Time,
Bruce,
with the stash.
Yeah, the very shady. Got a wig, got a little bit crazy wig going on there, and he's just basically watching the two women as they're skating around for a little bit, and then he's trying to hitch a ride with them.
How convenient that their car stalled out, and he's there to help them and fix it. Yeah, obviously, he did it.
He obviously broke that beforehand, and then used that against them in order to show that he was trustworthy. But as we see them leave and eventually give him the ride and then leave the parking lot, the camera pans over to that missing persons, missing women sign. So we know that Bruce is bad news off the top.
Yeah.
Now, you and I had theorized, as well as many of you online, have theorized that Dylan McDermott's character would have been Johnny Morgan. But unfortunately, there's no connection there. He's a little bit older for Johnny Morgan at this time. It would have been a fun callback, but completely unnecessary. Dylan McDermott plays a kind of similar character, obviously, we learned. He's been killing, I think he said 5 people at this point.
He's trying to catch up
with Ramirez. That was a fun little nod there. But no connection between past seasons with Dylan McDermott's characters.
No.
Sorry, dude, you gotta get out.
Do I? Donna.
Now, the series of events with Bruce, first of all, he knocks out that cop. He kills the cop, actually, and steals the car. What's up with everyone stealing police cars? This has happened a few times now.
Yeah.
He decides he still wants to go after them. Yeah, he rear ends.
Which looked like a horrific crash right there.
Okay, sure, and they're fine. And from there, apparently Brooke took some self-defense classes.
Yeah, Brooke is a crazy badass in this episode, more than she's ever been. Remember, before she was kind of like a selfless, timid, running away from everyone, answering phone calls in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the night.
Now
here.
She's got a shotgun to her head. She knows what to do.
She's defending herself like with the precision of like Steven Seagal. Like, this is crazy stuff here. This is Chuck Norris vibes right here. I mean, she's kicking ass, and basically at the very end of this, she frees Donna from her circumstance as well behind the truck, and then she ties up Bruce and cuts off his thumbs so that he can no longer hitchhike. Amazing moment in AHS history here.
They didn't kill him, so I'm wondering, is he gonna come back in some form with just, I have no thumbs now, or that's kind of lame. No way,
I don't know.
Do that.
I probably might have at least called the authorities, the cops to come pick him up. Maybe they did. Maybe the cops are gonna see some guy tied up to the pole and he has no thumbs.
Maybe.
But like, let's hopefully get him caught for what he did. He, horrifically killed 5 women before this. So, yeah, hopefully he's dead.
Now, to wrap this up, Brooke is going back to Camp Redwood to get her revenge on Margaret. Donna, you think she would say bye, peace at this point.
Right.
No, she's going with her. Do you trust Donna?
I do not trust Donna. She's trying to make like a little bit of a turn from a heel to like the hero to help out. She feels bad for what she's done. I still don't trust her intentions because of what she's done previously. Listen, there's no reason why we should trust her based on like what we know about her so far.
I'm telling you, I think she made a deal with Margaret or something to get her back there.
My one question would be like, what's the significance of Brooke? Why keep her alive for her to deal with, for her to go back to Redwood? Obviously, walking into a hotel room with the newspaper clipping of the exact place that you don't want to go, I mean, the person's going to find it. That was way too obvious. But yeah, I'm interested to see why exactly she feels like Brooke needs to be present in order to take down Margaret.
Let's go back to Camp Redwood and Benjamin Richter's. He's walking on the campgrounds. He immediately sees the other Jingles.
The hell, dude? What's your major malfunction?
I've met you before.
All of the Richters, basically the Mr. Jingles that were dressed up as him, all of them that had died on the campground, they're all there, and they basically attack him and say, "What are you doing here?"
So then he's brought forth among the High Council of Ghosts or something. Xavier, I don't care. Xavier and Montana are in the scene, so I'm all for it. Whatever.
This serves as Richter's moment to kind of give them some backstory on what's going on and what he believes the origins of this blood curse that he calls it. On the campground itself. Now, at the beginning of this, no one really trusted him. Everyone wanted to kill him immediately, right? They all wanted him dead. Montana wanted his blood. They all wanted to kill him. But as he tells the story, it's a very tragic story.
Everyone
they're
gets
all kind
sad.
of like on his side. They're like, okay, like now we trust you. We feel bad. I mean, we even get a tear from Montana at the end of his story. Now, all the story was missing was a nice little campfire like we have here, Greg. But he brings us back to 1940s again. Back when Camp Redwood was still Camp Golden Star, and his mother, as we find out, Lavinia, hence the Benjamin and Bobby, basically she went crazy after the murder after the death of her son.
Blamed everyone there.
Blamed everyone and ended up killing nearly everybody on the campground.
She's the first. She's the OG murderer.
She's the OG murderer, the OG massacre. We thought the 1970 massacre was the first one, but it actually was this one that started the whole thing. We find out that she nearly killed Benjamin himself.
But he was able to get the last stab.
Yeah, his first kill.
His first kill is his mother.
He killed his mother, and as soon as her blood was spilt on the ground, perhaps, apparently,
this
the
caused the blood
curse. Yeah, it was now attached to anyone who died on this campground. So basically, all the subsequent decades since then, people are stuck in this realm of afterlife on the campground itself. I was a bit surprised that we didn't see Bobby in this episode, but I'm sure that we're eventually going to see him at some point.
I mean, when Benjamin asked his mom about Bobby, she just screams at him.
Yeah, she freaks out.
Don't say his name!
I mean, like, damn, Gina, that scene, every line with Lily Rabe is just, I can eat it all up. Just keep going.
It's excruciating to see. She She just delivers that pain and misery so well in this episode, as we said before. But also we can tie in why Benjamin named his son Bobby, right?
Yep.
After his younger brother who passed away. And we learned that like Benjamin himself is living with a ton of guilt from this. Like it's not just the pain that his mother feels.
John Carroll Lynch, again, a great character for him. And I bring this up all the time, but he said in an interview before,
I don't just want to play somebody who's stabbing somebody. I'm not interested in playing a Jason.
Yeah.
Emmys.
Much more than what we've seen him do before, walking around as Twisty the Clown. Like we get a little bit more backstory. Well, some of Twisty the Clown, we got a little bit of backstory on him as well. And we got to see some kind of a well-rounded character here. But in this moment, Benjamin Richter is much more well-rounded
so fleshed
than
out.
any of his characters previously. So a fantastic job between both these two. And then we learned that basically Lavinia tells him that his best chances against Richard Ramirez is if he kills himself and comes back as a ghost on the campground.
Cool.
So we see him stab himself, he dies, and he immediately pops back up as a ghost. And now apparently we're gonna get another showdown between these two.
Now, two key things about Lavinia here. First, she seems to be the puppet master over the camp, of course, and so she saw the death of Richard Ramirez, and she knows he can come back from other powers, Satan. And second, she's the one who pushed Margaret to do the 1970s massacre. Now, that is cool, and you want to go back to those episodes now, and if you can hear the little whispers.
Right.
We had Satan, 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 but I wonder if there's other whispers in the background.
The
It's
lady
just
in
her,
white.
just in the background, just saying, just pushing people on to kill everyone. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And this is significant, right? Because not only can the ghosts obviously do harm physically to people that are on this campground, but in addition, we learn that they can kind of influence people. And if there's like a kind of a crack in your personality, or if, in this case, she was being teased and hurt by everyone else on the campground, Margaret was just basically kind of pushed in that direction, motivated.
Do it. You know you want to do it.
Exactly. So she motivates Margaret to basically do the initial massacre in 1970. Now, speaking of Margaret, current day Margaret, as you said, she's pretty evil. She's just planning the festivities, wants the festival to go off.
Yeah, another fire festival line.
This fire festival joke is hysterical, and she basically is only concerned about profit.
We haven't locked in a caterer, and do not even get me started on hydration.
Just give him a slice of Wonder Bread and a Dixie cup of water.
That actually might sound even better than Firefest food. I don't know. You saw photos, right?
Oh, I saw photos, all right.
Now, when it comes to the festival itself, we didn't get to see Billy Idol yet.
Not yet.
Still fingers crossed for Evan Peters to do that. But we did get Kajagoogoo, and then we get
some
the
British
murder.
new wave,
Yeah,
cool.
Then we get the murder of Kajagoogoo and the entire band by Richard Ramirez, who's working for Satan.
Now, one line there that you might sleep on is Margaret mentions to the band, she's like, hey, why don't you play Never Ending Story? We know they're not playing that song because of a certain other show on Netflix.
Yes.
Now, one last thing there. Montana and Trevor hook back up. They're together again. And then it cuts out there.
Right.
Now, prediction time. I have a feeling when he died off camera.
I agree.
And the next time we see him with Margaret, he's dead. He's a ghost. I don't know what he's going to do there. I don't know if he's going to get the final stab, because I feel like this is set up for maybe, Brooke to do it.
Right.
But I have a feeling Trevor's going to help out in some way.
100% agree with you. I think Trevor definitely wants to get a stab in there.
Yep.
We've seen the cracks in that relationship, and basically there was zero foundation that was built upon. He wants to get some sort of revenge on Margaret as well. Looking at the preview for next week, it looks like we're going to get a final showdown. I guess it's called the rematch part 2.
This is not the season finale. This is not the season finale.
It's only episode 8, so we have 2 more episodes left. But apparently Ramirez and Richter now, the kind of, it's an even fight. Maybe even more of the advantage goes against Richter now that he's a ghost, that he can fight against the powers of Satan.
I don't know. I can't wait to see what happens, because Satan's probably going to have some tricks up his sleeves too.
100%. We also get a little montage of Brooke as the final girl, as kind of Donna explaining what the final girl is, right? And we see Brooke there. Now, do we think, is it too on the nose, too obvious to have Brooke as the final girl? I don't know if this ends well for anybody, even the final girl.
Yeah, I think they're all going to die there at the campground, but we'll see where that goes. She can still be technically the final girl, but I think she's getting dragged to hell with everyone else. So is the festival going to happen? Because Kajagoogoo's dead. and there's a massacre here. So they're gonna have to call the police, right? Or is Margaret gonna like
Cover
take
it up?
that bus and drive it somewhere for a second, hide it?
I mean, it sounds like something Margaret would do. She would try to cover it up because, look, she's trying to get money. She wants to get, she wants this festival to go off, and she wants to reap the benefits of it.
Yeah, in the trailer they do show something. There's a performance. So I'm assuming she's gonna drive that bus somewhere and hide it.
My prediction is that she definitely covers up this murder, and basically that they still try to have all these people come to the festival, and that she is killed in a performance of some sort, where no one really knows that it's real and it's not just a performance. Yeah.
Only in American Horror Story can the reanimated corpse of Richard Ramirez, reanimated because of Satan, by the way, go back to a campground and kill the band Kajagoogoo. Cool.
Yeah, American Horror Story has a twisted sense of alternate realities, right? But that's what makes it fun as well. Guys, let us know in the comments what predictions you might have for the next episode. I'm guessing it's still going to be another fun one. Like you said, this was one of our favorite episodes of the year.
This is top 10. Top 10 too, all time.
So let's hope that the momentum keeps going to the final couple episodes.
Please. Satan, please.